Hello everyone, welcome again. In this video, I'm going to talk about the generalized binary search template, finally. And before this, I'll just talk about the patterns we have discovered in lower bound and upper bound question. Let's dive into it. Okay, so here we are into our code editor. Now, if you can see, there is a pattern for a binary search. Now, let me draw these patterns for you, right? So, if I'm talking about a simple binary search where I need to basically search for the target, right? So how does it look like? This trick or this basic pattern recognition will help you a lot in solving any sort of problem, any interview problem. So if it is a binary search and you are given an array, this will be the format. So you will get false for all of your elements, but for only one element, you will get a true value. This particular true value will be the target. Either everything will be false or there will be only one true in case of a a pure binary search where we are searching for a target. Now let's talk about lower bound. How does lower bound looks? So the lower bound looks something like this. So we have false in lower bound, okay? But after some time, I'll get true. So basically, lower bound says that the condition will give you true for all the elements which are greater than or equal to the target element. So let's say this is your target element, or this is the element which is greater than your target element. Now in this case, for every one of them, so let's say if I'm searching for an element, target is 2. So for this particular array, everything from 2 to 12 will give you true in your condition. So if I want to again write it in terms of true and false, I can write it as like this. I hope it does make sense to you. Yes, so for lower bound, the pattern is like this. Okay, now let's talk about the upper bound. In the upper bound, if you think the pattern will remain exactly the same. If you're talking about the upper bound, the only thing is one true is less, right? Here you will get a false because you want strictly greater than 2. Okay, if this is clear so far, we can go ahead and kind of derive our generalized formula for a binary search. I will write it as this. So it will be an integer. I'll call it generalized, or let's call it binary search only. Okay. Okay. Now we're talking about binary search here. This is a generalized form of binary search. I'll have a vector of integer and I'll call it an array. I'll have a target. Now remember, what you want to do is, this is a template, right? Let me also write it as this is your template and you have to use this template every time. So blindly, whenever you get a question, blindly you have to type down the template, and your template starts like this. So you will have a left that will start with 0. You will have a right that will start with n minus 1. I will also have an n, which is basically the array dot size. Okay, so these things should be defined, perfectly defined, and right equal to n minus 1. Now all you need to do is you should have an answer. We'll store the value that you have to return if none of the elements is matching your condition. So this answer, this minus 1, will be returned if everything in this array is false, nothing is true. In that case, this answer will be returned whatever you are initializing it to be, right? Cool. So let me write it here. So if everything is false, then return initialized value. Okay. Now again, It is the common stuff which we were talking about. So left should be less than and equal to right. Okay. Now see, it is very, very easy. What you need to do, you need to check a condition and you need to check this condition if, right? If your condition is matching, if your condition is true, right? That means that you have to include that particular element in your answer, right? And this condition can be anything, right? This is a function I am calling and it will return a boolean. So for any problem, you will have this condition. You can just, take it outside as condition. So this is a condition. What you need to pass in the condition is array of mid, okay, and target or anything like this target will be passed here. Okay, one thing I forgot, I need to define the mid. This is also a very common part of the template. What you can do is left plus right minus left by 2. Okay, this is your mid, and you will pass this and you will check if your condition is matching or not, right? So let me have this. So int mid value and int target. Now you will have a condition. So let's say for lower bound, you have the condition that uh, return mid value is greater than, um, sorry, the target should be greater than or equal to the element you are at right now. This is the condition for the lower bound. If this condition is matching, if this condition is satisfying, then what you need to do is basically you know this is your potential answer, right? If this condition is satisfied, then you will say, okay, this is my potential answer. This can be my potential answer. You will say answer will be equal to mid. Number one. Number two, what you need to do is you need to include it, right? Now here the left and right will change, right? For in this condition, if it is matching and I'm checking that, okay, the mid value should be whatever the value I'm at right now should be, okay, I think I've written it wrong. So whatever the value I'm at right now should be greater than or equal to target, right? And if this is true, then I'll say, okay, include it and go to the left part. Okay, so I will say right will be equal to mid minus 1. Now here you can change the conditions, right? It's up to you. It's up to the question. It's up to you to decide whether or not you want to, put right equal to mid minus 1 or left equal to mid plus 1, right? And in the else condition, based on the pattern, basically, you will decide this. And here left will be equal to mid plus 1. Okay, and you can also say, in this condition the right can be mid minus 1. Okay, now this is at the end what you need to do is you need to simply return the answer. Now this is your, your basic template. You have to use this template every time you get a binary search question. You don't have to worry about, if you're using it, you don't have to worry about, what is the right value? Is the, should I take the right value as n or should I take it as n minus 1? Should I take my while loop as left is less than equal to right or should it be less than right? You don't have to worry about it. So three things in the generalized template which you need to remember, right? I will write it as nodes. Number one, left and right. Okay. Let me also define the value. Left will be equal to 0 and right will be equal to n minus 1. Okay. Number two, the while loop. While will always be left less than equal to right. Number three, Number three is whenever you are in a if condition and it is getting satisfied, what you will do is left is equal to mid minus 1, right? And right mid plus 1 and right will be equal to mid minus 1. Okay. So you will never do this. You don't have to do left is equal to mid. You should never set left or right to mid. You should always set both of them to mid plus 1 or mid minus 1. The reason being, you are checking this left is less than equal to right. If you will set it to mid, in that case, it is possible that this will go to an infinite loop. Left will always be equal to right. It'll again left will again point to mid all the time. So left will never change its value to anything apart from this mid. And it might be possible that you will end up in an infinite loop there. So always remember that left is equal to mid or right is equal to mid is not allowed. Let me write it as a fourth point, which you should remember. Okay, this thing is not allowed. Okay, so these three things are allowed. This fourth thing is not allowed. Otherwise, you will, end up in an infinite loop. There might be a chance that you will end up in an infinite loop. So here we go. This is your template. This is your final template, which you can use anytime when you are solving a binary search uh, problem. And you will never end up in any sort of problem. You will never end up in an infinite loop. You will never end up in a problem where something which is not present in the array is not getting the desired output. You will not be captured in a problem where if you are trying to search for the first element of the array, then it is giving you the wrong answer. So all the edge cases has been covered in this particular template. So here we go. I have given you the tool. I have given you the generic binary search template, and now it's up to you to make most of it. And for that, all you need to do is practice, 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 practice as much problem as you can. I will give you a couple of homework. But before that, I just want to show you a couple of things. So we are right now at Geeks for Geeks. Okay. And here I'm checking out the binary search solution. So Geeks for Geeks is the most common website where you will come and you will learn. Now, I was very surprised about how random, the code is written. It's very difficult to understand and very difficult to find out if there is a generic method to know, to code binary search. So let's see this code. What it's saying, it's a generic binary search. You are searching for a particular element X in an array, and left and right you are passing. Now you will see the left here is 0, and the right here is n minus 1. Okay, so I understood. Okay, so I'll need to pass 0, and I'll need to start with right equal to n minus 1. That should be it, right, for a binary search. Now, I'm also doing while left is less than equal to right. That's also good. And at the end, I'm returning minus 1. Everything is fine. Okay, I understood that. Okay, this binary search is seems nice, seems good. Now, what about if I have to do lower bound? Now look at this code. It is taking an array. It is taking the n will be the right index, and it is taking x, that is the target element. Now you see what it is doing is it's doing while low is less than high. It is not doing less than equal to high. And also if you see what is the n we are passing. So here n, which we are passing to the, let's say, print bound, and print bound is calling lower bound. It is calling with n. N is basically the size of the array. We are not doing n minus 1. So in this lower bound, what we are doing is we are getting this n. It is not n minus 1, it is n. We are doing low is less than high. Okay. But we were not doing low is less than high in the real binary search. Okay. And you can see this condition, right? What it is saying. It's saying if low is less than n and array of low is less than the target, then increment the low. I mean, why are you doing this? It was really very easy here when you were not doing anything like this. You were using a while loop, and I know when the values are changing, you're returning minus 1, you're updating L, you're updating R. Everything makes sense here. But here, I don't know why this condition is there, right? You have to do the research. And when you are sitting in an interview, at that point in time, when you do this, you will definitely make some mistake. So it is very important that you should be prepared beforehand. And the generic template I have given you, believe me, just try to solve questions with those templates and try to, analyze it. It will work flawlessly. You know, just try it once, right? And now let's come back to the homework part. Okay, before jumping to the homework part, if this video in any way proves valuable to you during your time spent watching it, then please consider subscribing. It will motivate me and we'll meet again. And also, like, if you have any suggestion or if video was valuable to you, please let me know in the comment. It really motivates me to, create more content. So let's jump into the homework part. Yeah, so here we go. So you know about lower bound, you know about upper bound, right? Let me write lower bound again. Lower bound is this. So you will get false, 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 and then you start getting true. Okay? And similarly, the upper bound is also the same. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to implement reverse lower bound. And similarly, if you are able to implement reverse lower bound, you will be able to implement reverse upper bound also very easily. Okay. Now, how this reverse lower bound or reverse upper bound will look like? It looks something like this. So it will start with true. So all the elements will be true, and then it will end up in false. Now, if I have to write the definition of this reverse lower bound, how will I write it? So it should be the index of the element in the array where the element is smaller than or equal to the target. And similarly, if I talk about reverse upper bound, then it will be the index of the element in the array where the element is smaller than the target. It is strictly smaller than the target. Yeah, I think this is your homework. Just let me know. It will be very, very helpful to me if you can solve this problem, and if you can paste it in the comments so that I can see how you have solved the problem. Let's get that discussion going on. If you want me to also make video on solving this reverse lower bound and reverse upper bound, you can just let me know in the comment and I'll make a video on that. Thank you so much. Till the next time.